welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we are doing another hangout. I can't remember what number hangout this is, so I'm going to have to look back on when I do the thumbnail, to be honest with you. But it's just a case of where I've been hanging out over the week. We just sort of go through and run down of a couple, normally about 5 figures that I've purchased over the last couple of weeks, to be honest. I haven't done one of these videos for a little while because I wanted to get 5 figures to be put up on here. But please, if you find yourself here more often than not, then please subscribe to the channel. If you like the actual content, ding the bell, and if you see a video that you like, follow it. If not, just move on and watch the next video after that one. We've just hit over 5,000 subscribers as well, so thank you so much for joining on the channel. I did hit over 5,000 the other week, but there was a big Star Wars hoo-ha going on. Less said of that, the thing, and lost some subscribers and whatnot. It was just a bit of a finicky week for me, to be honest. I do have a lot going on behind the scenes as well. It's not all life and glam and figures, unfortunately. But yeah, it sort of hit me in the tooth because a lot of guys are asking why I don't do a lot of Star Wars, and it was my reason why. And yeah, less said the better, but we're moving on. We're stronger than that. So thank you anyway if you are still here. So yeah, been away. These are kind of figures that I've bought over time. The last couple of weeks, I kind of bought a Carnage, which was the what one? It was the bootleg Carnage, which I turned into the Spider Carnage now. So I wanted this one because he's more sort of reminiscent of the classic Carnage here. It looks really like the animation style here. I was going to wait for the retro, but it seems to be going to be coming out in a kind of shell shaded kind of way, so I'm not really too fussed about that. So that's why I picked up this guy here. Picked up the Jackal as well, iconic character, especially for my Ben Reilly. He's the creator of the clones, and kind of like the Ben Reilly version, like the Green Goblin to what Spider-Man is. I've got a retro looking Hawkeye here, not the actual retro one. He's actually got more metallic and stuff on there of him, but nonetheless it is more of a retro one that will fall in line with my Avengers on the shelf. And then I've got Demo Goblin, which is more in line to go with the Maximum Carnage, and obviously another Goblin guy to add to the shelf. I really like the look of this one, and he was an actual builder figure, but I actually bought him complete, which wasn't too bad. And then I've actually finished off the Armadillo at the back there. He looks fantastic, really cool, and we're getting more in depth. So basically I'm going to go away and then we'll come back and I'll do one by one and we'll do quick reviews with these characters. So first up we've got Carnage here, a really iconic character, just fantastic. I really love the way it's smooth. There's no sort of like the veins and all that sticking out. It's really kind of cartoonish and I really like it. I really like the expression on the face as well, the really open mouth. Looks pretty cool, and he's got all these tendrils hanging off him, all done in a kind of a nice fashion. I kind of wish there was a little bit of black goo over each part, so I might add that on there, to be honest with you, because they just kind of go a little bit red, and especially this kind of looks a bit like a bit of chewing gum and someone's like pulled it out to make tendrils and it's gone hard. So it's not too bad on the back. Do I prefer it without? Because I'm a little bit finicky when it comes to like characters with these sort of things. Sometimes I think they just go off a little bit too much, but I think I kind of like it. So really he's got kind of basic Marvel Legends articulation here. So we've got left and we've got right. He can look down this far and he can look right up, so you can get those really cool wall crawling sort of poses, or even coming up here. Unfortunately there's no butterfly joints in here, but obviously he's got full rotation here. Arm comes up this far, rotation up the upper bicep. It's got a double elbow here that comes right around really nicely actually. Rotation at the wrist, and it's also on the hinge. We have got this sort of ab crunch part up here. It goes down a lot more than it does back. And then we've got a waist swivel. Leg wise, up, forward, back, upper thigh rotation. We've got here double knee as well. And we've got a lovely boot cut as well, which is a nice sort of like addition to the Marvel Legends sort of characters. And then we've got the rocker and a pivot at the ankle. So in all, really, his articulation is pretty cool for a character of this sort of caliber. The only thing I would say, maybe some butterfly joints in there for being a Spider-Man-esque. But just the look of the guy's eyes coming down all this sort of like veins, and I think it needs a little bit of black on his hands as well. They're a little bit too red for my liking. We can pop off this hand like so, and he actually comes with this cool looking axe. And yeah, again, pretty cool. I wish this bit around here on the moon sort of shape was black as well. It just needs a little bit more black on the actual thing. But apart from that, yeah, it's pretty cool. So we quickly do a little size comparison. So we bring in a Spider-Man. This is the Reveiws Spider-Man. He's my classic type-esque Spider-Man there. So he's a little bit smaller, but I kind of always think that Carnage was a bit like Spider-Man's height, or a bit smaller. This guy actually sits a little bit larger than most Spider-Man. And then obviously we've got our new Ben Reilly custom Carnage Spider Carnage in there. So actually these two are pretty much the same height, so they do fit in very well with each other. So I'm really pleased for having this one on the shelf. So next up is the Jackal, and this guy was a must-have for me. I didn't even know Marvel Legends did a Jackal until recently when I saw a post, and I missed the sale of it, but someone else actually sold a Jackal a little bit later on, and I didn't know this guy existed. For this guy, without this, he wouldn't have created Ben Reilly or Kane, and had the Clone Saga. That was really my kind of 90s childhood in the comics. Even though it has much hate it does get. So this guy's pretty cool. It's quite basic. I mean, when you look at the actual figure itself, it comes with no accessories, but it's got that grinning face on there with those big ears, very looking like a gremlin in a way. Nice sharp teeth and all green, and because of that it just reminds me that it is Ben Reilly's sort of Green Goblin there. So having these guys side by side is pretty cool. The rest of the body is just like fur. You can see all these extra textures all over his hands, and we've got all these extra bits down here. It's pretty much like a monster-esque. Little basic pants, unfortunately. So the design of the guy is not exactly, you know, sort of going to break any kind of records, but it is pretty cool to have. So really, we can actually go through his articulation. Quite basic. Head can only come up this far. Down, back, left, right. A little bit of a rocker in there. Full rotation around up here. Arm comes up this far. Rotation, double elbow. We've got a rotation and a hinge. We've got a crunch, back and forth, left and right. Legs come up this way, forward, back, rotation, double knee, and there's no sort of boot cut here, unfortunately, but we've got the rocker and a pivot. So yeah, really basic sort of Marvel Legends sort of figure, but he is, I think he's a little bit older, this one. I'm not, you know, I'm trying to catch up my Marvel Legends, but I don't know how long around he's been about. But for saying that, we can actually bring in, do some size comparisons, so we can actually bring in his creation of Ben Reilly, as well as my custom Ben Reilly on the side here in civil outfit. Take this Ben Reilly away, and obviously we can bring in his first creation, which was Kane. So yeah, great to have all these on the shelf. Actually, let's just take that one off and then bring in the Green Goblin as well, because this guy is literally ideal to have these two together. I really love to see a team up with these two. So this one is the Demo Goblin. He's actually from Maximum Carnage as well. I can't actually remember his actual storyline, so I really apologise for that. I always thought it was the Hobgoblin that went slightly mad. He sort of like became the Goblin. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a whole different storyline. I'm not too sure. But yeah, he looks pretty cool here. He comes on his glider, which is all in transparent sort of fire going around on there. Got a peg underneath, so it will fit on the flight stand if you got anything like that. Looking pretty cool. With his feet, they kind of hook up underneath as well, so he's really solid. Not like some of the other ones that I've just recently have from those ranges. So we take this one off, and he was actually a builder figure as well, so all these parts are separate. They all come with other figures. Unfortunately, again, don't quote me, I'm not too sure which other figures he generally actually came with, but I know it's a few years old now. But the actual sculpt on this guy is pretty cool. Like even sort of like the washes in the face and the teeth look really nice, with that extending tongue as well. All these holes around on the top and going around on the back. It is kind of like a reuse. I'm sure this cape is reused quite a lot as well for this sort of like ripped look and stuff. But on the arms, got all the bubbles, very reminiscent of the Green Goblin as well. But we've got all these extra kind of gothic parts on here, all these extra chains on this part on here and around. Very basic, again on the articulation, no butterfly joints, but it has all the rest, double elbows, swivels and whatnot. And then down up here we've got the doubles, and we also got a boot cut down here, which is really nice. And we've got the rocker and the pivot at the ankle, so you can actually sit on that glider, really nice. But yeah, the claw marks on here just makes him more even demonized, and it just looks pretty cool for Halloween in my opinion. So we can actually stand him up in a nice old fashion if he wants to. So that took me time to get him to actually stand, but while he's standing, we're bringing the Green Goblin, who was the original one. I'm not too sure if this body was first, because I know the retro was a recast of another figure, but I don't know if it was this was first, then the recast, then this Green Goblin, or the other Green Goblin first, then this one, then that one. Let me know in the comments down below. I know there's a lot more Marvel Legend fans out there than I am, but I just like it where the boots are the same, the arms are the same. It kind of just can sort of makes these guys sort of part of one family. And we could bring in that Hobgoblin as well, who carries the same man bag as the Green Goblin, and he's got some other parts around as well. So yeah, just really cool to have this one on the shelf, and especially considering we've got the Maximum Carnage ones all coming into play. Oh dear. So next up is my Hawkeye. This guy was pretty cool when he come in. I thought really I need a Hawkeye on the shelf to go with my Marvel Legends. I still need a classic sort of Black Widow, and then I've got all the classic 5 in a comic form. But this one was definitely, when I saw it, I needed it ASAP. So looking at the guy, is obviously more metallic than anything, but I kind of like it. It's kind of like armory. I know it's not a traditional retro type, but it's, to me, it's still a Hawkeye that I have reminiscence in my head, so I'm okay with that. Maybe if I wanted probably a plain arm on this side, and I'd be more happy, so which is the retro release, but I'm happy nonetheless that it's just got this arm on here. It's not both arms. So yeah, so he comes with his bow and arrow. It's not too bad, very plasticky looking, no extra gimmicks or anything on there. It doesn't come with any bows as well to put in his hand, but nonetheless pretty cool. On the back he has got his quiver. I have actually glued this into place because it was doing my head in. It just kept falling out, and you're never going to have a Hawkeye without a quiver, so I'll just pull it in, super glued it, and that's it. And that's where it's staying. It's never going to come off. Sort of articulation wise, he's got head left, right, he can look down, he can sort of look right up as well, which is pretty cool. So if you get a running mode, as he's sort of running to grab his sort of like bows from his quiver, is pretty cool. So good for photography there. Normal arms, no sort of butterfly joints on here, and down to here, and we have got a boot cut, which is the additional kind of Marvel Legends thing without butterfly joints, but it's got everything else that one figure actually needs. So yeah, again, a pretty cool figure just to add to the shelf. We'll just plonk him over here, make him stand. His legs are a little bit gimmicky, and we just bring in one of the other guys that has an A on his head. And I just thought, with these guys together, it spells ha. How ironic. But last but no means least, we have the Armadillo. This guy I weren't really too fussed about. I thought he actually looked really, really cool, but I didn't really know anything about him, to be honest. But I've been reading the Scarlet Spider-Man sort of storyline, which is this Scarlet Spider-Man, and actually he appeared in one episode, one comic of it. As soon as it come up, I was like, yeah, I've got to have it. And it was even just a funny one as well. He was just coming in because he split up with his girlfriend. But it just made me want to go out there and buy it. And that's what Marvel Legends is. It's the comics and sort of building up those sort of like characters that come from the page. And yeah, I just think this guy looks really, really cool. So obviously Callum just sent me the last part of the head. I think this come with Shriek. I had a leg that came with Miles Morales Spider-Man. I had an arm that come with something else, Morgan, which come with the other arm as well, or Morlan or something like that. And at the moment I think you can get most of these sort of parts from the Entertainer. Most of these, not the actual parts, but the figure that comes with it, which is about a tenner, and it just makes up this massive guy. It's just absolutely huge. I mean, head-wise, got left, right, it's got a small bit of rotation and looking up and down. It is quite hindered at the arm because this bit all comes off. It's just like one big solid piece, just to put over his armour. So it's just, he's normally quite sort of like bare. I don't know if it's like an Incredible Hulk reuse or something like that, I'm not too sure. But this just plugs in the back in his peg, which then fits over his armour parts on there, which is pretty cool. So arm wise, a bit sort of hindered up here, but it can come. It's got rotation. It's got rotation here as well. Single elbow joint, rotation and a hinge. It's got a waist, well, diaphragm swivel here, and legs come up. It's got the rotation at the top of the leg, one hinge leg, and then a rock and a pivot. So it's very sort of basic, it's very large, but these guys never really need it because when they stand still, they just sort of like tower over a lot of the Marvel Legends. And with that, we can actually bring in the Scarlet Spider-Man, so you can see how big this guy is. And we can bring in a larger figure, which is the Kingpin. So you can see that is absolutely huge. And then saying that, if you go to the Entertainer, I actually put him on my channel the other week, and this guy's even bigger, and this one is actually $20.99 in chamber, which is the large Hulkbuster or Hydro Stomper or something like that, whatever it was. Fantastic figure, absolutely humongous. So I don't even know where I'm going to put him at the moment. He just sits on the side of the desk. But yeah, all looking pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with these couple of weeks purchases, to be honest. So there we have it. We have this week's hangout all come to a close. I haven't actually done many customs this week. I mean, obviously I did the other day sit down with Callum and we actually done a bit of customizing on the live chats as well. And the live chats were just there to hang out. If you see us online, just pop on, just say hello, and we'll just have a chat. Normally we're trying to get a little bit of content for our channels as well. So yeah, I've recently just put a bit of paint on this guy, and I finished off the wings if you didn't see that from the thing there. So yes, just giving him a bit more life. But hopefully we should be getting some more content. And also check out the stores at the moment. There's loads of places in the UK that are dropping down figures in prices. You can get Reva for £15 in, I think it's Smith's. They've dropped down quite a lot of their sort of like last-ish kind of wave. So I might pick up some Black Series. Now they're dropping down in price. Marvel Legends again in the entertainer and game are really dropping down in price before the new waves come out. So if you want to get out there and start buying, especially building up some builder figures and stuff like that, then it's time to do so. So thank you so much for joining this one. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, ding the bell, follow me on Instagram, it's in the description down below, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.